up. Alright. So, adding and subtracting. Unlike multiplication and division, just like fractions all your life, for you to add and subtract rational expression, they must have identical denominators. They must have identical denominators. So to find the LCD, or least common denominator, you determine all factored polynomials, or simplified, whatever is easier for you, for each denominator. Multiply the top and bottom of each rational expression by this missing factor. Simplify each numerator and either add or subtract, depending upon what the problem requests. All right. So if I look at number one, are their denominators exactly the same? I'm good to go. So that's my denominator when I'm done adding, or in this case subtracting. 6m squared minus 18m plus 12. All right. Now up top I'm going to subtract. So it becomes 4m minus, and I'm going to put this in parentheses so I know I'm subtracting everything. 4m minus 1m is 3m. 4m minus 3 would just be the negative 3. So I got 3m minus 3. All right. Seem good? All right, look at my denominator. Is everything even? Yes, so what can I pull out? A 2. What number goes into, in other words, what goes into a 6, 18, and 12? 2 does m3, which means 6. So that becomes 6 times m squared minus 3m plus 2. And then what goes obviously into both 3 and 3? 3. And I got m minus 1. This m minus 1?
Yeah.
When I factor out, I divide by whatever I pull out. So I pulled out the 3, so I divide everything by the 3. If it had a variable, you would divide by the variable as well.
Yeah.
Alright? Now, this goes back to what we were talking about earlier. I got an m minus 1 up top. I'm going to look for m minus 1 to be a factor down here, because that factors into m minus 2, m minus 1, I still got the 6, and I got the 3 times m minus 1 there. What do the m minus 1s do to each other? Cancel out, good. Alright, now I look at the numbers, which is 3 and 6. What does 3 over 6 eventually reduce down to? 1/2. So I would either have, I'd have the 1 up top, the 2 on the bottom, and then what's left? M minus 2. Alright. Now, number 2, monomials. Not polynomials, monomials. That's got a 5, that's got a 6x. They're completely different. So this is what we mean by what we do. See that 3? That's my first numerator. Everybody see where the 3 comes from? I'm going to multiply that times 6x. I'll put a minus sign. I'm going to put the 3x and put that along 5. So it says least common denominator. But if you're going to struggle with the factoring part of it, all right, you can simply take each numerator and multiply by the opposite denominator. So I took that 3 and multiplied by 6x. I took that 3x and multiplied by 5. It'll work. You may have to simplify at the end, but it'll work. All right, you're finding a common denominator. And my new denominator is simply 5 times 6x, the product of them. And that's it. Now I got to work on some operations. 3 times 6x is 18x. 3 times 5 is 15. So 15x over 30x. Then turns into 3x over 30x. What do the x's do to each other? Cancel out. And then 3 over 30 is 1/10. That's it. So you, ladies and gents, give number 3 a whirl. Give number 3 a whirl. Absolutely. Give number 3 a whirl. Now the bottom is just 5. You just have to and then you the watch just falls behind him. It makes sense. And then that one we know we can't cancel. While we're done, you know what I mean? Worst thing is all you're going to look at now is 2, 20, 30, so you don't look at all of that. Multiply that by that. Yeah. No, it's not in there. It's got to be a long. If you do, you have to write it separate. And you'd be right back to where you started. So the x squared y, they stay there unless it's involved. You would divide everything by 2. That's your last move. Ready? 2x. 6xy. Plus 4. Times 5. I'm not sure where it all came from. 2x is my original term. I'll multiply that by the opposite term. 4 was the second. Multiply that by the 5. I just bring that sign down. So that's the fraction mark. I just write 5. Yeah. Times 6. So you just multiply these. I multiply that by that, actually. That by that, and then that. Exactly what I did. Alright? So in other words, I take the first numerator, which is 2x, multiply that by the other denominator, which is 6xy. I take the second numerator, which is 4, and I multiply that by the opposite denominator, which is 5. Everybody good? And then in the denominator, I just multiply what? Straight across. 5 times 6xy. Good? What's 5 times 6? 30, so this is just 30xy. Up top, 2 times 6 is 12. X times x is x squared. And then a y plus 20. So now I'm just distributing. Everybody good? Now, look at your variables before you look at anything else. If your variables don't show up in all your terms, you're done with the variables. So in other words, I went through it with a couple of you. See how you have x's and y's in a couple, but this doesn't have anything in it? You're done with variables. You're not doing anything with variables, but now you're looking at the numbers. 12, 20, and 30. Is there a number that goes into 12, 20, and 30? 2. So you can divide everything by 2. So if I divide 12 by 2, what do I have? 6. X squared y. 20 divided by 2 is 10. 30xy divided by 2 is 15xy, and I'm done. If you try to break it back down, you're going to end up right where you started. You don't want to do that. All right? Now, in number 4, what's different? What do we have as the second denominator? It has 2 terms. We call it a what? Final. What's up, Pop?
So after you take out that 2, then you're done?
After I take out that 2, the 2's cancel out and you're done. So unless a variable shows up in everything, you're not going to do anything with variables.
Okay.
Good? All right. So in number 4, my first numerator is 6n. What is my other denominator in number 4 that isn't under the 6n? n minus 1. Make sense? I'm then going to put a minus sign because it's a subtraction problem. My second numerator is n minus 4. What am I going to multiply that by, though? 6. So I'm multiplying everything by the opposite denominator. And then when I come down here, it's just the product of my original denominators. So it's going to be 6 times n minus 1. I'm then going to distribute. 6n times n is 6n squared. 6n times negative 1 is negative 6n. 6 times n is also negative 6n. 6 times negative 4 is negative 24. All over 6n minus 6. Up top, can I hold on, 6n, yep, plus 24, sorry. I jumped some signs because the negative turns it back into a positive, I apologize. So in other words, this negative, the negative 4 times 6 is negative 24, but the negative of the negative 24 turns into a positive 24. Yes, ma'am? Why is it what? There we go. We'll get it right. So negative 6n, so it goes back to the minus 24. There we go. I got ahead of myself. 2 wrongs make a right. 3 lefts make a right. All right. Now I'm going to combine like terms. 6n squared minus 12n minus 24 all over 6n minus 6. What number goes into all of my numbers that you see in there? 6. So can you divide everything by 6? Yes. And you're going to have n squared minus 2n minus 4 over n minus 1. And then this is the last point of the day. Is n squared minus 2n minus 4 factorable? No, there's no 2 numbers that go into 4 that are going to give you a negative 2. You're done. You're done. You don't have to do anything else with it. All right? That's where we'll pick it up tomorrow because I was about to write. Great job today, everybody. I appreciate it. I do. You have no homework today. If you want to start on the back, you can, but that's going to be due on Thursday. So the back is the homework associated with it. If you want to get started with it, feel free, but it's not going to be due till Thursday. Did that help?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Jesus. Is genetic?
No, I know. It's like, my brother gets something different.
Okay. Well, that's, thank goodness. Just kidding.
Yeah, so we're both going up.
Okay. All we're going to do is finish this up. Oh my God, I got to stop the video. There'll be a video.